Okay, so I'm going to talk about a relatively easier concept today, and it's how to play man advantage on offense. And I'm primarily going to be talking about freezing. So, freezing is pretty much where you take minimal risk and you play off your teammates, holding for the defender side re-aggros if they're down a player. Okay, so first example I'm going to talk about is when you as attackers are not grouped to speed up off of a man advantage. So for example, defenders, let's say they want to get first blood, and they send the jet up with sky utility, and you as attackers manage to kill him instantly. Okay, so now you have earned a man advantage, okay? And that's within the first like 10 seconds of the round. So there's still a minute 35 left of the round. And as these two guys, you know minimum there's still a sky left there, but you don't know if there's anyone else there. So the correct decision to make like 99% of the time here is to freeze, because you don't want to speed up into like the unknown if you're not grouped, right? Let's say if you do speed up and there's like two other people here and they're playing rubber band, it's not good. So if you're not grouped for after you get a first blood, 99% of the time, it's better to freeze. And what freezing is, right, is like you just have to be taking minimal risk, playing off your teammates, and holding for re-aggros, and like making a decision later in the round whether to go like A or B or mid or whatever. Because if you're taking minimal risks when you're a man up, you're playing for the opponent to take risks and make mistakes because you're a man up. And doing so, this will increase your odds of winning the round higher than if you were to continue taking risks, like really high risk plays. For example, after you kill, this is example of what not to do, right? After you get that kill, and then you instantly start working the other side of the map, which is okay as two people, that's fine. But let's say you have this guy is like playing a semi-passive but not so passive line, where he's kind of like in the open, kind of just holding mid, looking for aim duel, and someone peeks out and just happens to kill him, even though he's not actively going up by himself, he's still in a position where he's, number one, like not taking minimal risk. Number two, he's not playing off of his teammates. It's untradeable. And even if there's the slightest possibility of getting traded here, of just getting picked off here, it's instantly back to a 4v4 and you forfeit an area of the map. But a good example would be after getting the kill, you are in tradable positions, right? Let's say you stay here and this guy is jiggling very passively, jump spotting, whatever. These two have a crossfire mid in these positions, and these guys are hiding A. And as defenders, 4v5, they know they're at a man disadvantage, right? So they want to do something to put themselves in an advantage to win the round again. Whether that to trade back, get the round into a 4v4, or they correctly guess whether attackers are going to go and stack that site. There's two things that defenders can do, right? Is using util to get info, and using bodies to get info, right? So Sky obviously will be unloading her whole kit for info in main, and these guys, they're probably looking for something. They're probably looking for opportunities to put the round back in a more winnable situation. And in these situations is where you as the attackers, you have to be like, you have to know that they're gonna do that. That's why you can't be giving off your own body alone and be in untradeable positions for stuff like a trade back into a 4v4 to happen. Let's say they walk down and these two will kill them. But in the previous scenario, let me just, in the previous scenario, if it's like this, and then these two pick out and happen to kill this guy, and this guy's untradeable, then the round is infinitely different than if the positions were tradable and they're taking more optimal fights where they can actually trade off of each other. And this just plays on the fact that like you want, like in this game, right? I'm just gonna explain this now. Is like it's not really who is playing better, but more so who is making less mistakes. So you want to keep catching your opponents making mistakes over and over and over again. And that's in like most games how you win games is like you catch mistakes. Your opponents makes more mistakes and you capitalize off of it. So being in situations where you can capitalize off those mistakes is usually what freezing is, like the main concept of freezing. Now, giving an example of if you are grouped up after you get a man advantage. So let's say attackers, you want to do a mid default at the start of the round. You get the control per usual, do the smoke dart, and you come up and you happen to kill this guy. Now looking at the positions of the attackers compared to that split example before, this is like infinitely more grouped up than the one before. And this, you can either slow down and play the attackers, but you can also speed up. Now you have the option to speed up because like no matter how many more the people are at B, you can go if you want because you have numbers compared to before. And that's, for example, you only had 2. And now you have the option to just go and split on this guy. And final example now is where you have enough info to make a judgment instantly whether or not to slow down or speed up, even if you are grouped or not grouped. So in this example, let's say the defenders swap up the tempo and their setup, and instead of doing A pressure, they want to do C pressure instantly. So the jet would come dash up and the bridge would do the flash. And even if you guys, and let's say this over darts, and even if you guys end up killing this jet, you still know that there's 2 other here. And just off that alone, you will know where the other 2 people are. So when the enemy gives you enough info, you can make a decision instantly whether or not it's a good idea to speed up, even if you are grouped, or to not speed up. So you know the main stack is at C here, and you know they're weak elsewhere, so you can either speed up or you can either not speed up and go put numbers in other areas of the map because you know they're going to be weak in the other areas of the map. Okay, so just gonna explain in further detail why this is important, because naturally, as people, like when you play this game, you want to be an advantage, right? That's why people go for like first bloods. Jet will always like try peek in the first second of the round to try get a first kill. Same thing in reverse. Example is when you're down 1, you always want to, like defenders instinctively, like in their head, they'll always want to like restabilize the numbers. So if defenders happen to die here, and you know for sure that this is the only guy here, the only guy left here, then you can like speed up. But if it isn't, then like 99% of the time, just better to just hold, freeze, and wait for them to make mistakes, right? Just play off your teammates because the odds of them re-aggroing is infinitely higher than them just sitting there like, okay, we're gonna defend this, like 4v5, we're just all gonna sit here and just chill, like all sit in passive positions. This is just not gonna happen in this game. People instinctively always wanna try and just get your team back into the advantage, whether that just be through their bodies or through info. So just look at their comp and stuff when you're attacking and you're in a man advantage, and you're good to go. Yeah, so relatively like easy video today. Easy concept to grasp, and I feel like a lot of people like already know this, but I still see stuff like this happening like a lot in pro play as well. Like when you're in, like I don't think people are actively thinking about it when they're a man up. I think so a good thing to implement is just telling your team to freeze whenever you're a man up, if you're in a position where you can't speed up, and having protocols to just be in positions where you can't, or like it's very, very unlikely you can get picked off without getting traded. So if you're in duos, play together, play off each other. If you're solo, just like juggle, just keep prodding, don't die, and you should be good to go on most of your attack rounds if you're a man up. Just wait for them to make the mistakes. Like there's plenty of time in a round, right? You don't have to like rush stuff if you're one up. In most cases, like just waiting and waiting and just keep waiting for the enemies to make mistakes is just like the way to go in this game. Like usually it isn't who makes the better plays, it's usually who makes the least amount of mistakes who wins. So just keep waiting. And yeah, if you're new to my channel, please comment if you want anything made. If you're unsure about anything about this game, just comment and I can make a video about it.